And she opens my heart so much. Oh, everybody just do the team thing and send me some love. Isn't it funny? Man, you just never know when it's going to hit, do you? So let's go to the first slide of where we get to honor. And it's a little dark. Can you, I can't see anybody in there. I know you're, there we go. Woo, thank you all so much for being here. Special call out to each and every one of you that showed up to volunteer at the Rockies game last night. We literally had half of our congregation there. And so much gratitude for all of you that stayed up really late last night and showed up here this morning. But I just wanted to post a few wonderful pictures of this amazing event that we did as a community because we had 35 people show up to volunteer. Yes. And it was so much fun. And it was one of the games of the century to be at. I mean, what a gift. We got to hand out t-shirts, which everybody wanted. So, well, most everybody. and so they were happy to get them, and we were done way before the game started. So we were able to do a lot of socializing and good community outreach. But the Rockies, oh my gosh, I don't know what the actual score, 16-0, okay. What was it, 16-1? Did they actually? 16-0, got it. And it was almost a no-hitter. They did have one person get a base hit. But the thing is there was a grand slam. Some of you had left before the grand slam, but there was, all bases loaded, and the pinch hitter that hardly ever bats and had a really low batting average, he had probably the game of his life because he hit a grand slam. So it was just so much fun. And I think we're going to talk a little bit this morning about what we gained from that. So let's go to the next slide. A few more pics of everybody in the stands. We had a ball. It was a sold-out game. So it was packed, absolutely packed. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. September's theme is Hearts of Service. And we really saw how Hearts of Service shows up in so many different ways, especially the last few weeks. I know a couple of weeks ago I spoke about that in regards to the hurricane in Texas and how Hearts of Service through that interaction, when push comes to shove, folks, the only thing that matters is love and being able to share our humanitarianism. And it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you voted for, what color you are, what your sexual orientation is. We're all here just literally walking each other home. And I talked about that 2 weeks ago. And so we're continuing with that theme this month on Hearts of Service. And today it's all about sharing your divinity and feeling fully alive. How many of you felt fully alive yesterday as you were sharing your divinity? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's go to the next slide. Based on that, I love this meme. So isn't that the truth? Isn't that what happens when we volunteer, when we share our divinity and we feel fully alive? Can't you just totally resonate with that picture? Got way happier. So that was us last night. That was really us all this week, because I'd like to say that, one of our beloved longtime members, Rosita, a couple of weeks ago fell. She injured her knee. She is immobile for 8 weeks. And I sent out an email and a sign-up sheet, sign-up genius for her and her roommate of like 60 years, Janine, who just celebrated her 85th birthday. We're in need of meal service. And you know what? For 8 weeks, we came together as a community, and I believe every single slot has been filled. So let's everybody give you a round of applause on that. Yes. So a little shout out to Rosita. We love you, and I am just so blessed because this community knows how to give of their hearts. This community already knows how to share in your divinity. So you're probably thinking, well, what the heck are you going to talk about this morning then if we got that down? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, as the spiral of ascension continues in our lives, because if we're here living and breathing, we are continuing to ascend. And I know many times I say to you, my goal, my inspiration is to just be more aware today than I was yesterday. And as we share in our divinity and as we open our hearts to service, that's how that happens. And when we share in our divinity and we feel fully alive, like many of us said we felt last night, that's a part of how that happens. So We dedicate our time and our talent and our treasure and expertise to the healthy and joyful evolution of ourselves, of our spiritual community, the community in which we live, and the greater community of the world. So in order for us to see a world that works for everyone, because that's our global vision mantra in Centers for Spiritual Living, we must be the example of possibility in our personal life. Think about that for a minute. What does being the example of possibility look and feel like in your personal life right now? And we need to be the example of possibility in our community life and in our global expression. We were ordained with God-given gifts and talents to lead a divine life. So we are being urged right now to not hold back from sharing our gifts with the world. And in order, I believe, in order to truly experience what it's like to be a fully expressed being, we must step out into the world and give of our time, talent, and treasure and our divine gifts. So Wayne Dyer says this beautifully: service, at its very basic core, is an inner choice to offer a helpful and healing attitude to others as well as to ourselves. Service is best thought of as a continual focus in your life rather than being limited to certain kinds of giving activities and the sharing of relationships. Service is a state of mind that expresses love rather than fear and trust rather than distrust. It is focusing on meeting all others as equals with whom we share a spiritual identity. This inner attitude of love reveals itself in action. That was all Wayne's quote there. So based on that, I want to share, and we were having some computer issues. Do you got it up or is it still down? Okay, so we had some internet issues today, and a big part of my talk is based on this real quick, it's like a minute and 40-second video by Maya Angelou. And the most important thing is that we hear what she has to say. You won't be able to see her, but I'm going to play it using my mic on my phone. And I just invite everybody to close your eyes if you feel comfortable, so that you're not distracted by anything outside of yourself, and just allow Maya's words to enter your soul and take those in right now, okay? Whoop. Probably have to turn the sound on my phone up, because I'm really good about turning my cell phone down when service starts, right?
It's so great. There's an African American song, 19th century, which is so great. It says, when it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. Imagine. And I've had so many rainbows in my clouds. I had a lot of clouds, but I have had so many rainbows. And one of the things I do when I step up on a stage, when I stand up to translate, when I go to teach my classes, when I go to direct a movie, I bring everyone who has ever been kind to me with me. Black, white, Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, gay, straight, everybody. I say, come with me. I'm going on the stage. Come with me, I need you now. Long dead, you see? So I don't ever feel I have no help. I've had rainbows in my clouds. And the thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so that you can be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. Somebody who may not look like you, may not call God the same name you call God, if they call God at all. You see? And may not eat the same dishes prepared the way you do, may not dance your dances or speak your language, but be a blessing to somebody. That's what I think.
So to be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. You know, Eric Butterworth says, life's inmost secret is the divine pattern in which you can only really know when you are giving yourself in service. Michael Beckwith says, you are here to serve the great law of life. You are, in fact, in service to the supreme creative idea that proliferates our environment. It is the life of God that is thinking through your mind, working through your hands, walking through your feet. It does the work appointed for you to do and perfects that which concerns you when you no longer work for the little self, but serve the greater self of your being and the universe. So there's also something that happens, though, for us, I think, personally, when we are being given that call to serve, or when we feel like we've felt that little tap on our shoulder that says, go ahead and raise your hand, or go ahead and give of your gift here, or your talent here, or your wisdom here. And then there's this, it's beautifully summarized by this quote by Charles Eisenstein. Sometimes it is not clear to me if I have done something out of a direct, uncontrived desire to serve, or if the real motive was to show myself or others that I am good, to confirm my membership in an in-group, or to avoid self-censure or the censure of others, or to fulfill my duty as an ethical person. I find, though, that there is a lot more pleasure in the former, because the desire to give is a primal expression of the life force. Actions taken in the gift bring a feeling of being fully alive, and that's the feeling to look for. So the idea around what I believe Maya was speaking of, and what these people, Wayne and Christian and all of these people that I've quoted are speaking of, is I think that we're being called to give in alignment with our values. But that means that we must walk our talk. That means that if you truly believe in peace, be a peacemaker wherever you go. Wherever you go. Find ways to forgive the wars that are inside of you. If you truly believe in love, find ways to love the unlovable. Give love to one who is hurtful. If you truly believe in a world that works for everyone, then speak out for that which would work for everyone. Speak out for social justice and for those that aren't privileged. If you truly believe that God is all there is and is everywhere present, in everybody and everything, start treating each and every person like a god and a goddess. Start treating the ground like holy land, and start treating your body like a temple of the Most High, and speak words of love. Now, by sharing that, I'm not at all meaning that you're not doing that. By sharing that, though, I am presenting what I feel is going on right now, that I am coming in and really being coaxed into a greater awareness of right now. And I'm going to bring the bear energy right now in this message to us to kind of support what I'm speaking of. Right now, I believe that our hearts and our souls are being laid out in a very sensitive, vulnerable way, with every activity and every decision and every action that seems to be reported and seems to be going on right now in our world and in our nation. And I think that what that means is, just like Maya was talking about, is I believe we're being called to be rainbows in other people's clouds, so that as we truly believe in peace, we are a peacemaker wherever we go. And if we truly believe in love, that we are truly loving all, even those that may show up temporarily in front of us as unlovable. that we are being called to be rainbows and other people's clouds in such a way that truly the clouds go away, they diminish, and then we just have rainbows. How cool is that? So with the bear spirit, and I'm bringing this to you because this week especially, bear has had a lot to share. There's been a lot of bear energy showing up, especially in my life and from speaking with other people in a lot of other people's life this week too. So I thought, there's something to that. I need to bring that into the message today because it's showing up. One of the ways that it showed up for us is we literally came across a bear last weekend when we were camping for Tony's birthday. I've got some pictures are always great to support what it is that I'm talking about. And there's the beautiful bear that we literally ran upon. And the beauty of getting to watch him is this adorable bear was foraging in this tree. And it looked like apples. It was something round that he kept attempting to get at, which he did very successfully. And he did that by, with one paw, he would take a swipe and take down this huge tree branch. And then he would climb down the tree and he would gobble up the apples, and then he'd climb back up into the tree and do it again. Now, the poor tree didn't stand a chance. The tree did not, I don't think, made it. But the thing about the bear is this, and he was, as you can see, a pretty decent sized bear, but I don't think he was fully grown. But he would climb way up high in the tree where I even held my breath a few times thinking he was going to fall out, because he would climb so high, where the tree branches were thinning out and might not hold his weight. So he would kind of bend down. But sure enough, he kept at it until he got all those apples out of that tree. And there was just so much power and steadfastness that he was displaying during the time that we were watching him. Yet there was also this really gentle peace about it. He was so adorable. I just wanted to give him a big old hug. But he was exhibiting all this power. And boy, it reminds me of what Maya is speaking of, being the rainbow in somebody's clouds. I think it's important to bring that bear energy into what we have before us right now. We are being called right now to be confident and courageous in embracing and sharing the divinity that we are as we are being rainbows in other people's clouds, because that takes courage sometimes. Sometimes it takes courage to stand up for what we believe is right. Sometimes it takes a lot of confidence in knowing the truth about ourselves so that we can be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud that may temporarily not know the truth for themselves. I have a dear, dear friend, ministerial colleague, that was going through a pretty rough time this past week. And it also brought to mind for me the bear energy, where I needed to remind him repeatedly of the confidence that he is, of the courage that he is, of whatever it is that he was experiencing in the external did not define the amazingness that he is and all of the years of amazing service that he had performed with so much love and grace in his heart. And so there's this bear energy that was showing up as the days of this week were going by for me. And I thought, it's courage. It's knowing the truth. It's confidence. So let's go to the next slide. So there's something else about it too. This picture is a picture of Ross's garage. Ross is on vacation, or he's in California traveling and visiting family for 2 weeks. And he contacted me early Thursday morning. Wednesday night, a bear broke through his garage door, as you can see here, and went into his basement and opened his freezer and helped himself to the food in there, making a huge mess. So it's like, oh my gosh. So think about the bear climbing the tree, eating the apples, and the bear that obviously had a lot of tenacity and desire to go through a garage door to get to the basement to open the freezer door and help himself to food. It's like, what do you take from that? What does that symbolize for you? I know the bear is going off of his instinct, his or her instinct. I don't mean to automatically assume it's a male, but the bear is instinctively going after food, right? Just like the bear was instinctively going after those apples. In such a way, though, that had a tremendous amount of courage and confidence and steadfastness and tenacity in what it knew was before it to be and to do. There's just something about that bear energy that we're being called upon to step into. Because it provides us strength in times when we feel weak and helpless. Life can prove challenging, and bear is definitely up to the task, no matter what the source. We can prove that, right? If you have been swallowing your words and compromising your vision lately, the bear energy is here, I believe, to call that forward within us, to give strength to our voice, to give strength to our tenacity and our courage and our confidence to be that which we need to be rainbows in other people's clouds right now. Are you following me? Everybody with me so far? All right. So then the lesson today continues to unfold. It's about giving to your spiritual home where the need is greatest and then your greatest need is met. So I want to say, have any of you kind of been sitting on the sidelines of your spiritual community? Have you been waiting for life to come to you instead of being an active player in it? If you want life to work for you, then I invite you to start taking action and serve yourself by serving your community. The energy of your gifts and your service just might be more, and it might bring you more than what you've ever planned. We just started our Prosperity Plus 2 class a couple of weeks ago, and a big part of that class and being a participant in that class is stepping fully into that beautiful reciprocity, the law of reciprocity that says that as we serve and give of our divine talents, then it truly is multiplied and comes back to us. Whatever it is that we feel that we need, whatever void that we feel needs to be filled, that's how energetically it works. So sometimes bear asks us to accept an authoritative role, not only in directing our own lives, but in guiding others, like the rainbow in your clouds and other people's clouds. Think of the height and the weight of a bear. It demands respect, wouldn't you say? I think that bear would have demanded respect from me if I hadn't been in a car. This is not the time to play dead, but rather to engage and inspire. Would you all agree with me on that? That this is a time to engage and inspire and be those rainbows in other people's clouds. Allow that bear energy of courage and tenacity and confidence to enter into any part of you that has felt like it's been pushed down, subdued for some reason, been made to be made silent for some reason. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the message, we all are being called to share our divine gifts and talents. They're within us and have been sparked alive within us for a reason, because they're needed now for us to continue to move through the ascension of what it is that we're all here being, doing, and being about. Who can tell me what our vision is, our mission statement for our center? Who can tell me? Anybody? It's on your bulletin. It's in your bulletin. Every day. Anybody? Loud and proud. Be a bear.
The dynamic and light community, empowering divine expression of love.
To empower the divine expression of love. To empower the divine expression of love. Everybody say that with me. To empower the divine expression of love. To empower the divine expression of love. Right now, we are being called to apply bear energy to any and all places in our lives where it's not feeling like we're empowering the divine expression of love. And we're being called to use that confidence and that courage and that tenacity to empower the divine expression of love within ourselves so that we truly can be rainbows in other people's clouds. So how many of you are willing to do that in a greater way? Not that you're not already. Yes, okay, I'm seeing some hands, just a couple of people over here. Oh, okay, we got some folks over here too. Good, good, glad to hear it. So let's go to our Rumiism. It's the next slide. Here's our Rumiism for the day. And as you notice, I changed my picture for those that are visiting. Rumi is our 11-year-old Finnish Spitz dog. And every week I do a Rumiism, but here's our Rumiism for the day. And this is when we went camping last week, and he was smiling, so happy here that I had to take this picture. So when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. You are literally in the flow of divine expression. And so what is our mission here? Empowering the divine expression of love. So the theme for the month, the focus for today, is that it's all about sharing your divinity and feeling fully alive. And unearthing any and all of those places within you that could be feeling pushed down and covered up and shoved to the side. You bring that bear energy in. You step into that authoritative role. You allow confidence and courage to guide you and inspire you and support you in empowering the divine expression of love so that we can be those rainbows in other people's clouds. That's what it's all about this week. That is our message for this week. Next slide, please. This is a really important point that I want to point out at this time. So let's all remember we're on that spiral of ascension together. It's a journey. No one is ahead of you or behind you. You are not more advanced or less enlightened. Bless you. You are exactly where you need to be, and it's not a contest, it's life. And we are all teachers and we are all students. You see, in Maya's talk that I shared, she said she takes with her every time she entered a classroom or stepped on stage or was in a place where she had this platform to share of her divine gift, she called and brought all the energy of everybody that had been kind to her, living or dead. And she said, come on, come with me. I believe that's what we're called to do. You know, we launched this month of kindness, and how's everybody doing with their calendar of kindness? I put one. Did everybody get one of these at the beginning of the month? There's more on the table in the back if you did not. How's this going for you? You guys been following this? Yeah? Good. Has it been powerful? Are you having good experiences? Has it kind of allowed you to step out of your energetic box? Yes, I'm seeing, yep, me too. Me too. I went through, I don't do this very often, but sometimes I treat myself to a Starbucks. And I went through the Starbucks line, and I'm always hearing about people paying it forward and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to buy the Starbucks for the person behind me. And I honestly have never done that before in a Starbucks line. And I thought, well, that was cool. And then we have, we've never really had homeless people that I'm aware of or that I see here in Castle Rock, and they're emerging more and more now. And there was one on the corner of by Office Depot, Allen Street, and where Office Depot is. And I had just gone to the bank, gotten some cash, and was driving by, and I don't know, you know, because after all of my years working with the homeless at the Salvation Army, I normally never give them money. I always just give them food or give them information on where they can get help. But something inside of me said, you need to give him money. And so I listened. So I think it's a part of engaging that bear energy too, of listening to your intuition and not doubting yourself. You want to be authoritative. Be authoritative with the divinity that's moving through you, with that wisdom that's moving through you. That to me is also a part of the bear energy that's bringing itself right now front and center for us to know. Next slide, please. Maya also says this: I have found that among its other benefits, giving liberates the soul of the giver. It liberates the soul. It allows us to be in that river. And it does bring joy. Next slide. So without a sense of caring, there can be no sense of community. And I am so incredibly proud of our community. Our community has an amazing sense of caring. We are some of the most loving, supportive people I've ever met. And there's not a single soul in this community that ever wants or needs for love, shelter, food, transportation, healing. I'm just so proud of this community. And I want you to know that I believe we are being called, like Bear Energy, to step into the greater community with an authoritative role, with confidence. You know, we just launched our 10th year anniversary program, and that is all about stepping into the community in a greater way. These few events that we're getting ready to, that we're already planning for the rest of the year. You know, in our 10th anniversary campaign that we're doing for this whole next year, we decided that it would go to benefit 10 different nonprofits within our community. And so every event that we do is focused around supporting nonprofits within our community. The Halloween Festival is set. We have the Greyhound Rescue coming, and a part of that event is supporting them. A part of the event is supporting our ongoing teen program for helping the children in the foster program of new pajamas and bags and backpacks. And so it's time, folks. It's time for us to step into the community in a more authoritative, confident, courageous way. By knowing who we are, by sharing our divine essence and value, and by being those rainbows and all the different clouds that we can be. So let's go to, let's see what I want to close with. So the ideas for giving that was included in our talk notes for this week for our global vision, there is a book that was written by Lauren Tyler Wright called Giving the Sacred Art. And this is what it says. Just like any spiritual practice, giving is something that can be integrated into our lives. And when we create a lifestyle of giving, not just participating in a whirlwind of giving one weekend and then dropping the practice, our lives can be continuously filled with blessings that come from this spiritual practice. Creating a lifestyle of generosity is more than just behavioral modification. It is seeing the world in a different way every day. When we are able to change our paradigm and see each moment and aspect of our life as an opportunity to be generous, we open ourselves up to experience the rich rewards that occur through sustained giving. So she puts in her book these little bullet point ideas for giving that allows that to unfold. And although I know everybody in this room, and I know most of you well enough to know that you're divine givers. You're incredible givers. I know that your lives have taken off and have really manifested and demonstrated real greatness because of your desire and your activity of stepping out into giving. So just keep in mind that I'm sharing this list with you already knowing that, but it might spur some insight in you that you're being called to show up in a different way in. So she says, give time, volunteer at a nonprofit organization, give hospitality, open your home to other people for a meal, give energy, pray or meditate on the needs and for the needs of others, give comfort or space, surrender your seat on the bus or the train to allow someone a place to sit, give your body, donate blood or make plans to donate your organs, give possessions, pass on your clothes and housewares to organizations that can redistribute them to people in need through thrift stores, and give forgiveness. Forgive those that you believe have hurt you. Goes back to, if we are truly loving, let's choose to love those that can show up as hurtful, because they're only doing that because they're hurting and because they need our love. They need our rainbow. So Marianne Williamson says this: no matter what we do, it can become our ministry. We are here to minister to human hearts. I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to invite you to take that into your soul. We are here to minister to human hearts. If we talk to anyone, see anyone, think about anyone, we can bring more love to this universe. Any task can be a ministry for as long as it's dedicated to love. And our ministry becomes a joyous experience for ourselves and others as we let a mysterious force direct us. Listening to that intuition. We simply follow instructions and we allow Spirit to move through us using our gifts and our resources. So although I know each and every one of you walk your talk, I am going to ask, are we willing to walk our talk in an even greater way today? Amen. Amen. Would you be willing to jump into the game of life and serve your greater community in a greater way? Okay, I'm still seeing some heads nod. Good. How would it look to you to create a lifestyle of giving from your heart? How would that look to you? And it's okay if it's not any different than what you're already doing, but sometimes speaking the words and taking it within you, it ignites. I think it ignites that river that Rumi was talking about. And it allows us to step into a greater understanding and feeling of that joy that Rumi was talking about. So I have an affirmation to close with today. It's the last, I believe it's the last slide. So let's everybody say this together. I love sharing my divine gifts with my community and the world. I make an impact here and now that resonates throughout the globe. And so it is. Denise, you are up. Thank you.